This is Bumper to Bumper, the car show. Drive in anxious and cruise out confident. With the best automotive information for your vehicle. And now your hosts, Matt Allen and Dave Riccio.
Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to Bumper Radio. I am Dave Riccio, here along with Matt Allen, and together we're your KTAR car guys. Heard every Saturday from 11 to noon. At Bumper to Bumper Radio, we're helping you, the motoring public, have a better overall car experience. So if you've got car questions, we've got car answers, and we encourage you to give us a call at 602-277-5827, 602-277-KTAR. Later on in the show, there's a car tip of the week that you're not going to want to miss. Open phones and text, of course, and how maintenance can save you money when it comes to not needing repairs to your car. What maintenances are good, Matt, and how are they going to save people money? Because every time people go to the shop, they're selling them more maintenance. What of that maintenance do they need, and will it save them money?
Well, I mean, some cars, I guess, can be over-maintained. We've talked about that, but the whole word maintenance is to maintain something in its current condition. I didn't look that up. I'm just, we want to maintain it. We want to keep it how it is or how it was. So anytime, and it doesn't matter what type of maintenance it is, whether it's cooling system maintenance or your regular tune-ups and the things that are in your manual, if you don't maintain, things will become deficient. And when they become deficient, they break down. And when they break down, then you've got to diagnose, you lead to other failures. So that in the grand scheme of things, that's how, maintenance is going to save you money. You keep it up.
Well, so let me think about this. Let me think about repairs that I have in my shop that could have been avoided had the maintenance been done.
Exactly.
So the most common one, that old check engine light comes on, and I get in my shop, and we got to do some diagnostic work, and it turns out, just simply a bad spark plug. You're at 140,000 miles, and those spark plugs were due 40,000 miles ago. But now you've got a diagnostic charge. You've been running with spark plugs way too long, so your fuel economy has probably dropped off. So the car has not been performing at its ideal condition because we didn't do maintenance. So don't get me wrong, there's a lot of maintenance out there that is overkill, and next week we're going to be talking about all the overkill maintenance that people are selling that doesn't do you any good. So next week we'll talk about the snake oil, but this week we'll talk about the things you've got to do to your car. So spark plugs is one of those things that comes to mind for me that people, you lose coils when you don't change spark plugs because resistance goes up in the plugs.
Yeah, it takes more to fire that spark plug, so the coil's working harder, working the electrical system harder. But let's just go back and start at the very basics. One thing that I believe in is the oil change. Of course, it's the lifeblood of the car. All the manufacturers are in the marketing business, and they want to stretch these oil changes out. And I can tell you from experience, there's a lot of things that are affected by the oil change besides bearings. You know what I mean?
Yep.
We have a lot of rubber components, and we don't just have a PCV valve anymore. We've got a crankcase ventilation and breather system.
It's part of the valve cover.
And it's got rubber diaphragms in them. Well, if those rubber components are always in oil that's got high acid content and it's got all this, for just lack of a better scientific word, junk and combustion byproduct in it, that's going to wear on those things. I mean, you take the cars where the manufacturers say don't change, you change oil every 10 or 15,000 miles. We see those at 60 or 70,000 miles. And the plastic components are deteriorating. The valve cover gaskets are leaking oil. But you take that same car where the guy did the maintenance at 5 or 7,000 miles on the oil change, and it doesn't leak oil. So little things like that, believe it or not, just make a big, big difference. And you've got someone looking at the car. We see that little thing, we stop it before it gets big. But then, Dave, cooling system. Right?
Yeah, cooling system is one of those things that, that could be over-maintained. But then at the same time, they're under-maintained. So you've got a car, again, think about cars in your shop, Matt, broken down with 140, 150,000 miles because the cooling system ruptured or something went wrong. There was a tow bill involved. Maybe they didn't get pulled over soon enough, so they ended up blowing a head gasket. Now it gets real expensive, where that stuff could have been headed off. A lot of these vehicles, they want the cooling system serviced at 100,000 miles. So 100,000 miles, change the coolant out, because coolant gets acidic over time and it just starts eating things away. Change the coolant, put a new radiator cap on it. That's one of those things you don't want to ignore.
Well, think about this, Dave, and how many times are you doing a major cooling system repair and the car has clean coolant?
Never. It doesn't happen.
It does, but certainly not very often. I mean, you're going to get I can think of some classic cars where you do see that. You see like your Toyota pickups, or, some of those with the top tank of the radiator seems to seep a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And that's usually clean coolant. But I'll tell you what, we don't do head gaskets on cars very often where the cooling system is in good shape.
No.
Right?
No, you don't.
We don't replace blown hoses on cars very often and find it's got nice, clean coolant in it.
Nope.
Because it's rotting from the inside out and it just isn't maintained. And some of that's maybe somebody put bad coolant in, or they didn't use purified water, believe it or not. I mean, the car does like Dasani, believe it or not.
That's right.
I mean, we're not feeding it Dasani, distilled,
yeah.
But maybe they'll keep a good pressure cap on the car. The pressure cap is as much to hold the pressure in as to keep the outside atmospheric air out.
So yeah, changing the coolant, good cap. Again, and then you want to do it right. If you're going to do the maintenance, you're not necessarily just using the coupon deal that the kid's selling from the local sports team. By all means, support the sports team. Give them the money. Don't use the coupons.
Put the coupons in the trash.
Yeah, put the coupons in the trash.
Give
because
it to somebody you don't like.
Because if you can get a good oil change for, I'll just use numbers here, $39, and a bad oil change for $29, over the course of the lifespan of that car, how many times are you really changing the oil? You do it 3 times a year, so you save $10 in oil change. A good oil change versus a, generic oil filter, all that stuff. You're saving $30 a year, but over that life of that car, it's going to cost you in the end.
And I want to talk about some of the things I'll go to one topic we didn't really discuss pre-hand, Dave. We're going to talk about body and trim work, but what about tires? Tires, do they cost me more money? Hey, when it's worn out, it's just worn out. I get a new one. What's the harm? Well, worst case, you're going to have an accident or something, but we're not going to get into the drama of, the overdoing it there. But what happens when the tire blows and then the tread kind of rips the fender well up? Is that saving you money? No, it's not. But by you're going to squeeze 3,000 miles out of a set of 50,000-mile tires. Come on.
Yeah. But,
it's like the chain smoker. The guy he's just dragging on that cigarette until the butt's on fire. Really?
my grandfather.
You got your money's worth. Throw the damn thing out. Just like the tires. You don't need to squeeze a couple extra 1,000 miles out of them.
My grandfather, unless there was steel showing, that tire was perfectly good. Yeah. But the difference is back then the speed limit on the highway was 55. Yeah. And now we're going 85. Well, the speed limit's 65. We're going 85. The speed limit's 75. We're going 95. You want good tires on the car, and when they come apart, it just rips things to shreds. You're on the side of the road. Sometimes you got a tow bill. It's just never a good thing.
And I think the overall theme, and we'll still get to the body and trim stuff. A clean car is a happy car. If your car is well maintained, you feel better about owning your car. There's a pride in the sense of ownership. You let the first dent go, and then the second dent's no big deal. Or the first time, the tire, and then you're just driving this pile of junk.
Jalopy. I've seen 70,000-mile jalopies and 150,000-mile cream puffs.
Oh, God, you take the same car. Pick your flavor. You take Camry, Accord, Hyundai, Kia, Chevy, Tahoe, Suburban, Escalade. It doesn't matter. You can see the difference. 2 cars. Someone's really taking care of it and probably not spent that much more money.
No, it's not. It's not a whole lot of money, and it's cheaper in the end.
And the people are asking out there, well, wait a minute, how's it saving me money to be spending money? Well, it's the resale value. It's the use and enjoyment of the car. It's better. Again, the body and paint. Here's an example of something that can cost you more money. You pull up to the parking curb. You know the guy. We've all done it. I have them pull in my shop all the time, and it's okay temporarily. But you pull the little shield off from underneath. What do? Hey, honey, I'll get it. I'll just rip that sucker off. You don't need it.
They throw it in the trunk, and a year later, it's still in the trunk.
Well, now the car's marginally running a little hotter.
Yep.
Maybe water splashing up and getting in engine components, or we've even had people drive through puddles and the shield's gone. That makes the belt hydroplane right off the the pulleys. So
yeah, so it has an effect on on everything. All the little things add up to a car that's not well maintained. And body and trim is, at some point you got to sell that car, or you got to trade it in. And if it's got paint on it because it's got a couple coats of wax in its lifetime, they trade in a whole lot better than if it's just all faded out piece of crumb. Mm-hmm. So there's an expense there. But when we come back, we're taking your phone calls at 602-277-5827, 602-277-KTAR. If you got any questions about maintenance, whether you think you're over-maintaining your car, things you want to consider, or you've got a vibration you want to talk about, or you're looking at buying a new car, what you think might be a good car for you, give us a call. We can help you with all that and more at 602-277-5827. You're listening to Matt and Dave, your KTAR Car Guys, on Bumper to Bumper Radio.
Matt and I share car repair tips weekly to help you keep your car safely on the road, and a few of them are easy to do.
Yep, you're right, Dave. And one of the easiest is to have a dependable battery that you can trust to get you started no matter what the conditions.
Interstate batteries are what we trust at Bumper to Bumper Radio. In fact, they're what we use at our own shops for our customers.
If you're like most people, your car is one of your most valuable investments. Make sure you take care of that investment with the power necessary to get you where you need to be. Interstate batteries are America's #1 replacement brand with the factory fresh guarantee, and they're easy to find at good shops everywhere.
Cars or trucks, Interstate has you covered with long life and performance in our harsh desert climates with products like Megatron Plus. It carries a 30-month free replacement and a 6-year performance guarantee.
Interstate batteries. No battery lasts longer. Check them out at interstatebatteries.com.
Honesty and integrity. It's the only option. Hi, Spencer Doucet for H&I Automotive. H is for honesty, and I is for integrity. We built our business on these two principles. We opened our first shop in Mesa in 2009, and with the support from our loyal customers, we've now grown to a second state-of-the-art location in Gilbert. 2 locations, same principles. Quality service at a great value, backed by an industry-leading 60-month, 60,000-mile parts and labor warranty. Check us out at HandIautomotive.com.
There is nothing more important than family. Hi, Kurt Rock here for Kurt's Auto Repair. I brought my nephew and general manager, Jeff Rock, to help spread the word.
Thanks, Pops. Yep, the more things change, the more they stay the same at Kurt's. Family owned and operated, our ASE Master Techs and family ethics have earned us a perfect Better Business Bureau record for over 30 years. Just east of I-17 at 22nd Avenue in Bell, or online at mycarhurts.com.
Gas or diesel, foreign or domestic, if your car hurts, take it to Kurt's.
Welcome back to Bumper Radio. I am Matt Allen, Dave Riccio here in the Red Studio at KTAR. Every single Saturday morning, 11 o'clock, we're here to help you with your car. And, Dave, earlier we were talking about maintenance, just in case you're joining us, doing some maintenance to help save you money. You got to take care of the car. I'm not saying, you got to go to the shop and spend a bunch of money.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. Next week we're talking about how you can save money by not doing maintenance, the kind you don't need. Yeah. So we'll cover that in depth next
some
week.
Of that overzealous. You got to do this, or you go to the car wash and it's like being at McDonald's. You want to do this? You want fries with that?
You want to supersize that?
You want a fuel injection cleaner with that? You want a coolant flush? Need a filter?
Yeah.
Whatever. There's certain times you need to do things, but they can all be quantified. They're subjective. They can be looked at, and you really should ask questions and talk about it. Maybe it's not always trying to do it the cheapest way. Hey, Mr. Repairman, Service Advisor, is there anything we're missing here? Does it make sense to if it was your car, would you ask those questions?
Right. What should we be doing? We got that apart.
Some people just really always want to think they're being the hero by doing less stuff, or think you're saving you some money because you're spending less. Not
tripping
always.
over $1 to save a dime.
Yeah, I had some examples like that in my shop this week that we could talk about later if we need something to talk about.
We got TJ, we got Perry, we got Aaron, we got Dave, and we're going to go with Mark in Chandler. He's got a 2011 Infiniti, I think it's a G35. How can we help you, Mark? You're on Bumper to Bumper Radio.
EX35, but close enough. Quick comment to dovetail on your maintenance First, even if you don't normally do it, hand wash your car once in a while. You get to see the trim that's falling off. You get to see the body parts that are molding. You're putting your own eyes on it. But my question for Dave is, while I'm sure shops like yours can do a lot of things, if not almost anything that a dealership can do, I'm wondering if there's something specific I should leave to the dealership. I'll tell you what it is. You'll probably know before I get to the end of the question. Rear differential mount. On the Infinitis, somebody had a brilliant idea to permanently attach that into the subframe. So now the entire subframe needs to be replaced for a total of about $2,000, or the Infiniti dealers work with an aftermarket where they can punch out the rear differential mount and apparently weld or replace a new one. But it is not an Infiniti part, so it's kind of like custom work. Only comes to about $1,200. Is that something your shop has seen before?
I'm not particularly familiar with it, so I don't know that I would have a whole lot of advice there. If I was sitting there looking at it and looking at the actual components and what it was. There is sometimes aftermarket stuff does make great sense, because sometimes engineers don't design stuff for maintenance. And now we're there, or repair. Now we're there, and it's like, oh, this is stupid. It's going to cost like $2,000 to fix this rubber bushing that just failed. Why? What engineer did this?
If this is the model I'm thinking of, I mean, it's nice because you look under there, and I'm always not necessarily focusing on the bushing. I'm looking at all the beautiful welds on that aluminum subframe and everything. But I think to answer his question, and he made a very good point too. We'll get back to it on the car washing thing. But, no, you don't have to take that to the dealer. Hey, there's a lot of things, Dave. We're not going to name names. There's manufacturers out there that won't fix certain parts of cars. They put in the whole entire box, if you will, or they won't repair that ABS module. They want you to spend, a couple $1,000s, where in the aftermarket we will fix that.
Yep.
They may not want to fix the transmission. They want to put a whole new transmission in. Well, why? When we can go in and replace the sensor inside, or
you don't throw a whole engine away because you got a bad timing chain guide. You just fix a timing chain guide. Yeah. So sometimes there's things like that. But a lot of times aftermarket is creative. They comes up with ways to, and there's sufficient repairs, the other way. And generally, if you're working with a good shop, whether they're familiar with it or not, they can real quickly do the homework and come up with the right repair for you.
And one thing I would caution Mark on is that it's probably a polyurethane bushing that they're going to put in place of whatever was in there, and you might get a little more rigid ride, or you might hear some noise transfer through the system, but for $800 savings or whatever it is. Washing the car, though, he's right. You get up and you can, maybe
when did that happen? I don't remember hitting that.
Well, yeah, or there's a little scratch. So right now you take some buffing compound, a little bit of wax, and you work on it, and now it's gone and it's clean, and you're right there. The other thing I like is trade cars with your spouse.
No, she's not driving my car. I actually I got both of my cars detailed this week at H&I Automotive. They came out fantastic. Yeah. And Spencer was making a big deal about how he does this, that, and the other. And I was like, all right, let me see it. And they came out really good.
It's funny. I fixed my buddy Todd's wife's car. He's like, hey, can you just hurry and get it done? She's not driving mine. She's going to have to borrow her dad's car. I don't let her drive my car.
I'm so picky. I like driving my own car, right? Man. I get in somebody else's car. I'm not going to move the mirror and all that stuff. But anyway, let's go with Dave in Gilbert with the 1999 Ford Ranger. How can we help you, Dave? You're on Bumper to Bumper Radio.
How's it going? Yeah, I just bought a 99 Ford Ranger, and I'm getting really, really bad gas mileage on it. It's got 113,000 miles on it.
Well, a couple things come to mind. What engine does it have in it?
It's got the 2.3 or 2.5, the smaller one.
Okay. And then, just obvious question, is there a check engine light or warning light?
No check engine light on it or anything.
Gosh. Does the check engine light work?
That I don't know.
Okay. So if it's not on, I mean, because most cars, if they're getting horrible gas mileage, that's a 99. It's still an OBD2. It's not the most sophisticated system, but if it's just egregiously getting horrible gas mileage, I would think it might turn on a check engine light or some other kind of failure. So one thing you want to do if you don't have a light on, just turn the key on when you start the car and make sure it even works.
Yeah.
If it does, great. after that, I mean,
if it's in my bay, I'm looking at the fuel trims to see if, short-term, long-term fuel trims, see if there's anything going on there. Some of the other things that aren't going to turn the check engine light on that could be an issue, you can have a locked-up fan clutch, pull an extra drag. I mean, there's other little nuances but if it's fallen off tremendously, there's got to be something going on.
I'm going to the Wayback Machine. I might be going to the fuel pressure regulator and pull off the vacuum line, see if it's full of fuel, sucking fuel that way. That may or may not, depending on the threshold. So that's one where, the guy that got out of tech school 3 years ago, or even 5 years ago for that matter, it's a little bit tougher to fix an older car. You got to have some.
Yeah, he doesn't remember that trick.
Yeah, the stuff that's wrong on the modern car 10, that car's now 20 years old. So stuff that, guys got good, solid 10 years experience, guarantees a good tech, but they might get to that 99 and go,
I know.
The low technology stumble.
Right. Yeah, no, it's funny to think how much has changed since then, that we had. And that's the thing is that things change. They're just changing. Advice 5 years ago, today's bad advice. 5 years ago was good advice, but what? Technology has changed. I mean, what are the biggest change since you first started? I mean, I hated working on carburetors because they were going out as I was coming in.
Right.
I could take it apart and put it back together, and it worked, but I didn't know why.
I remember one of my first carburetor overhauls. It was the electronic, General Motors carburetor.
A couple solenoids in the back of it.
And I was an apprentice, and we're doing the carburetor overhaul. And the guy that I worked for, he was the guy. He left at 5 o'clock. It didn't matter. Like, when the dinosaur blew the whistle or hollered, he was like Fred Flintstone. He's down the slide. And I had everything perfectly laid out on the little overhaul bench. And I took it off. I put it in order. You know what I'm talking about? Mm-hmm. And he walks up 5 o'clock, time to go. And he takes his arm and just rakes it across the whole bench and puts it. I said, "What?" He's like, "Oh, you'll figure it out tomorrow."
Those little shiny silver balls, you don't need those. Those are just extra parts.
They all got to go in the right place.
For sure. When we come back, we've got Aaron, Perry, and TJ, and more open lines at 602-277-5827. Anything related to your car, tire questions, brake questions, vibration questions, engine questions, window motor questions, door lock questions. You've all got something wrong with your car if it's 3 to 5 years old. Something maybe you don't want to deal with. We can talk about those problems here. It's safe. Give us a call at 602-277-5827. We'll be right back.
Loved my 07 Chevy Avalanche. With low miles and good maintenance, it looked brand new. Unfortunately, my baby was struck recently and suffered some damage. I was devastated. I was not looking forward to the hassle of dealing with the body shop and the insurance company. Thankfully, a friend shared an amazing experience he had with Campus Auto Body Salon and their owner, Leo Petrozella. So I went online and checked them out for myself. Been in business since 1973, incredible 5-star customer reviews, not only on their site, but with all the independent review services as well. So I made an appointment. After meeting Leo, my tension evaporated. He quickly gave me a reasonable estimate, then took care of everything from communicating with the insurance company to handling the rental car. Best part, several days later, I had my Avalanche back and it literally looked and drove like brand new. The process was seamless. I'm Mike, a real customer and a raving fan. Make your first call the right call to Campus Auto Body Salon.
Now what the heck do you mean? I don't need a new transmission? Everybody else says I do. Hi, Dave Riccio, owner of Tri-City Transmission and Auto Repair. Yeah, we pretty much hear this daily. We find that repair shops, transmission shops, and dealerships alike are unwilling to simply make a minor repair to a transmission. It's not because they're dishonest. They just don't know how, and will never admit it, as they don't know what they don't know. At Tri-City Transmission and Auto Repair, transmissions are not just a black box. If we can fix them without costly overhaul or replacement, we will. And for 2/3 of our customers, we've been doing just that for over 45 years. If we do have to rebuild or remanufacture your transmission, you can be assured that it's done right and by experienced pros. We believe in it so much that we back it by our industry-leading 5-year, 100,000-mile warranty. No one is doing that, putting transmission blues in your rear-view mirror. Get a second opinion before you buy. Find us online at TriCityTransmission.com. That's TriCityTransmission.com. Or on the Bumper to Bumper radio homepage.
Arizona's news station. KTAR. On air, 92.3 FM. Online at KTAR.com. And streaming live on the KTAR News app. Your breaking news and traffic. Now.
KTAR News time is 11:30. I'm Nailea Leon. A man was shot and killed shortly before midnight last night at a McDonald's near 24th Street and Van Buren. Phoenix police say two men were arguing and one of them shot the other. The suspect fled the scene and police are working to find him. If you have any information, call police. And with temperatures quickly reaching the 90s, Phoenix Mayor Kate Gallego hopes more people will protect themselves when it comes to the heat.
We lost 181 people in heat-related incidents last year. We have to do more to make sure people know the resources that are out there that can save lives.
The city of Phoenix just opened the doors to 59 heat relief locations across the valley, offering free water and cool air for people to escape the heat. Head to KTAR.com to see a full list of the locations. Now let's check in with traffic. Here's Mike Daniels in the Valley Chevy Dealers Traffic Center.
Thank you, Natalie. In Chandler, we do have an injury accident at Dobson and Warner Road, and a vehicle fire at 75th Avenue north of Baseline right there at Alta Vista Road. This traffic report brought to you by the Governor's Office of Youth, Faith, and Family. Teens are naturally curious about marijuana, so take the time to talk with them so they have the facts. Download the Parent Talk Kit at overcomeawkward.org. I'm Mike Daniels, KTAR News.
It's starting to warm up right now across the valley. We are seeing temps in the high 80s. We have a high of 96 today for our overnight low. We have a low of 68 degrees. For tomorrow, we have another hot day with a high of 97 degrees, but we will cool down into the low 80s for the rest of the week. Right now, it's 89 degrees in Ahwatukee. Weather brought to you by Howard Air. I'm Nailea Leon on Arizona's news station, KTAR News.
Listen live or listen when you want to. Stream KTAR News live or get podcasts on demand. Subscribe to podcasts from Arizona's Morning News. Bruce St. James and Pamela Hughes, Mac and Gatos, Chad Benson, and have them delivered directly to your phone so you can catch up on what's happening whenever you have time to listen. Live streaming audio on the KTAR News app is presented by Sanderson Ford.
Trust. It's hard to earn and sometimes even harder to find. If you live or work in downtown Phoenix, Matt Allen's Virginia Auto Service is celebrating over 20 years of award-winning service at the corner of 7th Street and Virginia. Recognized as one of the best service shops in the country, their customers have come to trust Virginia Auto Service for its A-plus rating by the BBB, 2-year 24,000-mile warranties, and free transportation to and from your home or office. 20-plus years of earning your trust. Virginia Auto Service. They're serious about service.
Hi, Kevin Rowe from I-17 Collision in Phoenix. If the bad news is you've had an accident, the good news is that with one easy click on bumpertobumperradio.com, you have the best collision, body, and paint shops to help you get back on the road quickly, safely, and with a repair you can trust.
Dave Lindgren here from First Class Auto Body in Scottsdale. Don't be fooled. Some insurance companies try to convince you that you must use their approved shops for your repairs. Not true. Arizona law allows you to choose the facility that's right for you.
And I'm Leo Petrozello from Campus Body Salon in Tempe. Having an accident is stressful enough. Dealing with the repair process shouldn't be. Appearance is important, but it's critical that structural integrity and safety are top priority.
3 convenient locations and one united team. With almost 120 years of experience and expertise between us, we are solely focused on taking care of you while working with your insurance company. The Collision Team at bumpertobumperradio.com.
It's back. The 8th annual Bunker to Bunker Memorial Day Play and Stay Golf Tournament benefiting Phoenix Children's Hospital is Saturday, May 25th at the historic Wigwam Resort. The famous 2-person scramble on the award-winning Gold Course is loaded with special prizes, awards, lunch, and even includes a coupon for a second round of golf, all for just $90. Better yet, make it a staycation with room night special starting at just $139 per night. Come make your Memorial Day weekend memorable. Space is limited. Register today at bunkergolf.com.
Fix it or forget it. This is the show that'll help you decide what to do with your car. Bumper to Bumper Radio. KTAR News on 92.3 FM.
Well, welcome back to Bumper Radio. I am Dave Riccio here along with Matt Allen, and we are helping you with your car at 602-277-5827. 602-277-KTAR. We got Perry and TJ and open lines. And for those of you who may not have tuned into the show before, what the heck is Bumper to Bumper Radio? Well, Bumper to Bumper Radio puts you in the know when it comes to cars and maintenance, because it's next to your house, your second biggest expense, and you can be broke with car problems. And so we want to help you with that. We want to relieve the stress so you feel comfortable with auto shops, auto repair. The other thing Bumper to Bumper Radio is, there's a website called bumper2bumperradio.com. That's 2TO. And there's a list of shops all over the valley that Matt and I would gladly carte blanche refer you to. Shops where you be safe and no one's going to be taking advantage of you or selling you stuff you don't need, but looking out for your best interest because it's in their best interest that you have a good experience with them. Those kind of people. So, across the valley, you can find them there. The other thing you can find there, if you missed a show or you want to go back to a show from recent weeks, they're all on that, as well as in the podcast.
And that's bumper2bumperradio.com, right? One thing, Dave, we were talking, before the show a little bit and talking about maintenance. And, there's some people that probably are their own worst enemies. And you know who you are maybe sometimes. I'm thinking in some cases I am on certain things, but I'll tell somebody about their car. One comes to mind. I won't mention her name, but she's a friend of, and hey, you need this and that as her son's car. Before I could finish the sentence, no.
Yeah, right.
I'm like, I'm thinking to myself, we're talking about a couple filters. This is someone who's kind of always getting a new car because her car is always broken by the time she needs to spend money on it. It's because she didn't maintain it, so now it's just cheaper to go trade, or she thinks it's cheaper to go trade it in.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess it's a little bit like effective complaining. If you don't understand, ask.
Right.
That's the whole part of the show too. Is we want to teach you or help you be comfortable. It's not taboo to say, why do I need that? Can you explain this to me? And I think a lot of people that they don't know the answer, so rather than engage in the conversation, what do? You just avoid it. And the best way to avoid it is to say no.
Nope. Yeah.
But you don't even know what you're saying no to. It's just this.
It's not helpful to be ignorant about your car. It's just not helpful.
Yeah.
It's not good for you.
Yes.
And I get it. People don't like to say no to things. But you know what? Sometimes it feels good to say no. So learn all you can learn. And if you want to say no, say no.
But ask questions. Be part of the process.
Mm-hmm.
So at least you know what you're saying no to. And that's okay. I mean, it's not going to. If I don't put the air filter on and put a set of tires in your it's not the end of my day. I'm going to be just fine. There'll be another one.
For sure. Well, we're going to have a tip of the week here, a car tip of the week shortly, but we're going to go with Perry in Scottsdale. He's got a 2002 Dodge Ram 1500. How can we help you, Perry? You're on Bumper to Bumper Radio.
Hi there. Okay, here's a fun little thing. The left front hub broke on my truck. Okay? I replaced it myself. 15 feet later, the brand new hub broke.
Is this a four-wheel drive or two-wheel drive?
It's a four-wheel drive.
Okay.
I went ahead and I got another hub, and I went ahead and I changed the U-joint and put the new hub on. This lasted about a month and a half, and now it broke again.
So I think we're missing why it's breaking.
Yeah, there's always the problem and what caused the problem. I mean, that's...
It sounds like he went U-joint, like maybe that was causing it to break, but there could be something else going on there. Usually there's a vacuum disconnect on that front axle, and some different things.
This one doesn't have it.
Doesn't have it.
And you're saying the hub, you're talking about the hub bearing, right?
Yes.
So, and I can't picture, that probably bolts up to the spindle with 3 or 4 bolts, and then it's got the bearing, and it comes with the spindle, and the lug nuts already, the wheel studs already pressed in. Is that how that comes serviced?
That's correct, yes.
And what's breaking?
Good. The actual bearing itself is coming apart, and then the wheel goes all askew.
Huh. I don't know. I mean, somebody needs to look at that and see. I'm thinking maybe it's an installation error. You pounding that axle through there or something like that and causing damage to the bearing.
You could have an axle, something wrong with it. I mean, there's something's not right that's causing these things to break, and really why the first one failed in the first place. It may all be related. So that's gonna be it. It's not that the first one you replaced it broke right away, and then the second one actually went a month and a half. I think there's still a problem there that we're missing. So, and like you say, Matt, there's what broke and why it broke. And sometimes we don't even we'll have a car come to our shop and something breaks and everything looks pretty good. We go ahead and fix what broke, and guess what? It comes back.
It's broke again.
It broke again, yeah. A month later, and we go, For something to break twice, we're missing something.
Yeah.
For sure. So thanks for the call, Perry, 602-277-5827. We're going to go with TJ in Scottsdale. He's got a 2002 Dodge Ram. How can we help you, TJ? You're on Bumper to Bumper Radio. Did I just do the wrong one?
No, he said TJ.
Okay.
TJ. He said he. TJ could be a she.
Hey, TJ, you there? No. We will come back to you. Then fine, don't talk to us.
See how you are.
Let's go with Sierra in Phoenix with a 2005 Dodge Stratus. How can we help you, Sierra? You're on Bumper to Bumper Radio.
Hello. I have a 2005 Dodge Stratus, and something's wrong when I go to give it gas. It doesn't go past, like, the 2 RPM, and if it does try to go past the 2, it, like, shakes, like, whoa, 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 like, real hard. So, like, I'm not sure what's going on with that. And then if we hook up the computer to it, it says like there's 8 codes that come up on it that need to be fixed or something.
Are the codes misfire codes?
Maybe, possibly.
Okay.
Well, that leaves a lot to be interpreted there. When you say it won't rev over, the 2 is 2,000, by the way, so that's the tachometer. It's 2,000 engine RPMs. Is that just sitting static in neutral or park and you rev the engine and it won't even rev over that, or does it have to be driving?
When you're driving, when I'm driving, it won't go past the 2 RPM.
Right.
And if it does go past it a little bit, it starts to shake real hard, like it starts to, like, as if it's going to break down.
Right. Well, if there's a misfire code there, you said you had 8 codes. What I would do, and I think the process in most shops, we're going to take that, we're going to document those codes and erase them. We want to know what they were. We might go look at some freeze frame data, and if you have a sophisticated enough scan tool, we know what the conditions were, how long the car had been running, what the throttle input and those type of things were. But you're never going to just go chase 8 codes. We're going to document them, clear them out, go drive the car again if you can drive it, and then when that code sets, something's going to come up, and you just have to go through a diagnostic process. If it's that bad, someone who knows how to fix the car is not going to have a hard time figuring it out.
Yeah, and a lot of times people hear 8 codes, they're like, oh my gosh, it must be really bad. But sometimes you get a code stack where, out of those 8 codes, there's really one thing that's wrong, but with that one thing wrong, all the other things stack up behind it because that one component affects so many other things. So you get a code stack. So it may not be this horrible, terrible problem, like you're a bad person, I've got 8 codes in my car. It may not be a big deal.
Yeah, it might not be. But
it sounds like a big deal, though. Oh, my gosh, 8 codes.
Just don't go throwing parts at it, though. You've got to be careful.
Right.
Not, to go to the parts store and, try this and try that and whatever. But
yeah, I see people waste a lot of money on the guesswork. And, there's this impression that you're just going to plug in and it's going to tell you what's going on. Codes are just one part. There's something else called data, and live data is watching all the numbers from the different systems, from this sensor, that sensor, and we correlate that data to our symptom and feel it together, and that helps us digest it. But the code is just a code. So anyhow, thanks for the call, Sierra. We're going to go with Daniel in Phoenix. He's got a 2001 Lexus LS 430. How can we help you, Daniel?
Yes. Yes, I do have a 2001 S430. Everything is doing fine except the suspension makes some kind of noise and also some rattle in the dashboard. Can you show me who I can contact to make that kind of repair? Because I take to the dealer, give me a few $1,000 estimate.
Yeah, I mean, Daniel, you're in Phoenix, and just at the beginning of the segment, just introducing you to bumperradio.com. If you go there, there's a list of shops. But if you're in Phoenix, right there in Central Phoenix, Matt Allen's Virginia Auto Services is a good shop. Rattles are one of those fun things, and suspension noises, but they got good technicians down there that can really figure that out. And I really think that when you got noises, get in the car with a technician and point the noises out to him. I mean, you can't see noises, you hear noises, obviously, but you want to make sure we're fixing and chasing the right noise, with the vehicle. And I tell people, if you got a noise or vibration, get in the car with a technician, show it to him.
Yeah, and we do second opinions. So if you bring in that paperwork and let's take a look and see what they said you need. And sometimes that'll save you some money. We don't need to necessarily diagnose. We can shortcut and go right to what they found, and very well may legitimately need a whole bunch of work, but maybe we don't have to do a whole bunch too. We solve that problem.
Well, here's the car tip of the week. Maybe you're one of those people that buys gas when your gas for your fuel pump is going, sucking off the bottom like when you were a kid and you were sucking the bottom of your drink. That's not good for your fuel pump. So really, keep your fuel level above quarter tank as much as you can. You don't have to suck every last drop out of it, because the fuel in the tank actually keeps the fuel pump cool.
Yes.
So don't be that, and I'm guilty of it. I put that light on, and until it just starts to run out of gas, hopefully I can coast it all the way to the gas station. Sometimes I'm doing that.
Oh, yeah. I've had plenty of times this is miles till empty, 0. Ooh.
Oh, darn it. We got to get with that. So when we come back, we've got Sharon and Paula and a couple more coming through. You're listening to Matt and Dave, your KTAR Car Guys on Bumper to Bumper Radio.
After a car accident, make your first call the right call to Campus Auto Body Salon. Bumper to Bumper Radio approved, 5-star rated with Yelp, CarWise.com, and A+ rated by the BBB. The best care in collision repair since 1973. Check us out at CampusBodySalon.com.
Gas or diesel, foreign or domestic. If your car hurts, take it to Kurt's.
That's our closing line, Pops.
I know, Jeff. Just reinforcing that we're full-service auto repair.
At Kurt's Auto Repair, we do it all, including diesel. We have the passion, training, equipment, and expertise for diesel. Our techs are ASE certified for diesel and advanced diesel diagnostics. Toy hauling, horse trailering, off-roading, or work trucking, we've got you covered.
Gas or diesel, foreign or domestic. If your car hurts, take it to Kurt's. Check us out at mycarhurts.com.
You love golf? Hey, we love golf. Want to stay informed and have a little fun? Just tune in every Saturday morning from 7 to 9 for the Bunker to Bunker Golf Show, the Valley's #1 golf show. I'm Greg Ellis. And I'm Jim Hill. And along with Marty Monahan, we talk to tour players and insiders from around the golf world.
So round out the foursome, your weekly tee time, 7 a.m. Saturdays on 98.7 FM, Arizona Sports Station, or catch up with us anytime at bunkergolf.com.
Ouch! Being out of tune is no fun, and maybe even a little painful. Hi, this is Lee Weatherby, owner of Accurate Automotive in Mesa. At Accurate, we are a family-owned and operated one-stop automotive repair shop that specializes in building long-term relationships that are in tune with your needs, not ours. We've been recognized nationally as one of the top shops in the country, but for over 20 years, our priority has stayed focused on providing quality automotive service and repair at a fair price. I invite you to come in and see the difference an in-tune relationship can make for you and your car. With our free courtesy inspection, a $49 value, we feel it is well worth our investment in you because we believe good long-term relationships start early with your first walk through our doors. Accurate Automotive, home of friends serving friends, just off Broadway and Robson in Mesa since 1992. For more information, check us out online at AccurateAutomotiveAZ.com today.
Carrie, I got to let this go for a second. Oh, it's gonna take long to get to the highway to hell. But if you don't want to be on the highway to hell, you need to go back in. And if you haven't been able to listen to the whole show, we can help you stay off the highway to hell with your car here at Bumper to Bumper Radio. Every weekend, we're here at 11. We're going to talk about these things that will make that highway drive just great and not the highway to hell. Because it is hellaciously sucky when you're sitting on the side of the road with a blown hose.
Right.
Whatever, right?
There's a text here that says, what would cause a car fire? And that one's obvious to me if you've seen the movie Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. It's often just a cigarette butt. That's what causes it.
Yeah.
But car fires, you've had a couple barbecues.
Yeah, my sister's car caught on fire. And it was the air conditioning. It was kind of a funny story. It's after we worked on it, of course, which had nothing to do with anything. But the
it has everything to do with everything.
Yeah. Well, yeah. If it was depending on who the customer was, it's ever since the ever since disease. Ever since you fixed my tire, my headlights don't work or whatever. But the AC clutch hub seized up, and the engine's obviously got way more power than that, so just friction on that hub. But the funny thing was, it started a small fire under the hood. It burned through the little radiator hose. hose, and that little hose peed on the fire.
Put it out.
Put the fire out. So it did still total the car, however. But fuel leaks. I mean, I drive my old 70s Porsche, and those things had fires back in the day. The little fuel injector line would squirt out, going to the exhaust.
Engine oil leaks. You got that valve cover that's just pouring oil on the exhaust manifold. That could start a little fire there.
Yeah.
Don't avoid those engine oil leaks, and then living right keeps your car from catching on fire.
Something flammable that got hot enough to catch on fire is what causes fires.
All right. Well, we've got Gary, and we've got Paula, and then we've got Sharon, and Sharon's going to be sharing about her 2015 Jeep Compass. How can we help you? Sharon, you're on Bumper to Bumper Radio.
Hi. I would like to know if you can tell me how many miles should my car have before I have the transmission fluid changed? Everyone tells me different things. And as I said, I don't know what to do. And then I'd also like to know what's a fair price to pay for that, or where to go.
Before we get there, Dave, of course, is the transmission expert and is going to answer the question, Sharon. But you just said something that I tuned in on. Everybody tells me something different. What have you been told?
Well, I've told you should have it changed at 50,000 miles. I've said, no, you don't have to. You can wait till 60,000 miles. And I really don't know what the right thing is.
Do you know what the owner's manual says?
Not really.
Okay. Sounds good. Dave, I think this is all you now. I mean, I'm sure you've got more than a word or two on this one.
Yeah, I got plenty. I was writing a blog about transmission service and all the wives' tales. That's where all the bad information is. There's a ton of bad information when it comes to transmission service. If I was just going to give you a broad brush answer, it would be somewhere between 30 and 50,000 miles, and that's just about most vehicles. I believe, if I'm not wrong, the Jeep Compass is one of those CVT transmissions. If I'm thinking right, gotta keep trouble
these days,
vehicles. Some vehicles are a little bit more prone to transmission failure than others. In those cases, we shorten that number up. And whenever I do see a CVT, which is a constant variable transmission, I like to see those serviced a little bit more, maybe more towards that 30,000 mile mark. And then there's some people that recommend it to you every 15,000, go to the next shop. That's way too often.
Right.
But really the whole point of servicing your transmission is to avoid seeing me as the reaper, at the transmission shop. Come in for a service and we can share a cup of coffee, and it's a whole lot better than buying a transmission.
She asked about price. There's all kinds of way to do that.
There's a car wash by my shop, and they'll do a transmission service for $89. I don't know if I would call it that, but that's what they do. But generally, a transmission service is going to be in that $300 range. Some of the European cars, you get up $400 or $500 for a transmission service, and some of this 8-speed transmissions, you're seeing even more than that. So if it's about $250 to $350, that's reasonable for a good transmission service. I like to see people use the fluid that came with the car. Mm-hmm. So Jeep has a fluid that goes in that car. Don't use the fits-all fluids. I'm not a big fan of those. I know there's some of those out there, and there's certainly some differing opinions on that for sure.
Right.
So hopefully that helps, and I didn't leave you more confused. Good luck with that, Sharon. If you can go to bumpertobumperradio.com, find more information there. I actually think I just posted something up there about transmission service, so you might look into the latest news on that. So let's go with Paula in Paradise Valley with a 2008 Dodge Ram 1500. How can we help you, Paula? You're on Bumper to Bumper Radio.
Paula.
Hi.
Hello. How are we doing today?
I'm here. Hi. Okay, so I do have this Dodge 2008, and what happens is when I get in to drive it, sometimes, just recently, I go to turn the AC on and there's nothing. I don't hear anything, no fan comes on, nothing. And then as I start to drive and I've got the window open a little, I can feel cool air coming through. And then all of a sudden, maybe 5 minutes, 10, 15 minutes later, maybe even half an hour, it suddenly just turns on like normal.
So we got an airflow problem. There's no air coming out of the vents, correct?
No air coming out of the vents.
Okay.
Probably pretty simple. I can give you the old, I can give you a diagnostic tip, the old Fonzarelli.
Yep, Fonzarelli on the jukebox, right there on the right by the glove box there. Just give it a tap and see if she comes on.
Yeah, and well, maybe for some of the youngsters out there listening that don't know who the Fonz is, maybe you want to go look up Happy Days and just watch this.
Love the Fonz.
Yeah, watch this cool cat in his leather jacket go over and whack the jukebox when it doesn't work. But Sharon, Paula, what happens is, there's an electric motor, and this could happen with a fuel pump, a radiator fan motor. The motor stops, and it's got magnets and windings and all the stuff in the motor. And if it just stops on a dead spot, if you will, it just may not start up. So you could do something as simple as spin the fan to give it a little jump start, and if it's commanded on, it starts up. You've probably got a fan problem. Same thing for that motor. If the motor's down underneath the glove box area, just give it a whack, on the glove, slap it, and slap. And if all of a sudden starts blowing, chances are you've got a bad blower motor. Because that's all that's happening. You're driving down the road, shake the truck a little bit, and or the airflow coming through the vents gets that turns that fan like a little windmill, starts to rotate just a little bit, and boom, it gives it a jump start and starts up. Shouldn't be a difficult one for anybody to figure out, I wouldn't think.
When I think of fan motors, blower motors, there's usually a blower motor resistor. Those like to fail. The actual blower motor itself, you see that. And then the other thing that happens when you're changing out those blower motors is the pigtail oftentimes is all crusty. So sometimes you end up changing out the pigtail. That's the actual electrical connection right at that motor. So, that's one thing when comparing auto repair. You go into two shops. One guy says, I can do that for $280, and the next guy's, he's $325. Why the price difference? Well, maybe the one guy's going to take care of the pigtail. He's going to change it out, or the resistor, something like that. So when you're getting auto repair and you see a dramatic price difference, you have to ask more questions. Why is yours more than the next guy? And people can explain that to you. Well, we like to do this and that. That way you have a more complete repair, and you don't have to come back and see me in 6 days.
And if you've asked that question once or twice, and you don't become the auto repair orphan, and you go to that same shop, and you've done the quiz with them a couple times, and they've explained and you developed this relationship, now you're in your comfort zone. You can quit asking because you know. Or I shouldn't say quit. You still stay engaged, but you're not at the next guy. You're not calling the next guy. You ask the question, he gives a good explanation, bam, the car's fixed, and life is great again.
We're glad you could join us, and be sure to join us next week. Matt's going to be gone, so the show will be extra good. We're going to be talking about, today we talked about maintenance that saves you money. Next week we're going to be talking about maintenance that costs you money you don't need to spend, so you can waste all kinds of money on unnecessary maintenance. So we're glad you can join us. Remember to find us at bumpertobumperradio.com. While you're there, be sure to like us on Facebook. Remember never to text and drive. We'll see you next week.